everyone, Ivy League Gaming here, and today we're playing Watcher of Realms. For today's video, we have another Watchers Academy reaction. We're gonna check out the gear system explained.
The finest blood for the most untainted soul.
So this is the final video of the Watchers Academy series that's currently posted on the official YouTube channel. I wanted to catch up and get these done too. There's a lot of really good, helpful beginner's advice that go along with this. And even if you're not a beginner, if you're like me, you've been playing since launch, there's still some fun little tips to kind of pick up as we go. Plus, I'm doing my best to add in my experience and my own commentary as we watch these, to help people as well, to try to prevent some big mistakes. Like in the last video, using those epic soul awakening stones on the wrong people or just randomly could be a huge setback for someone more valuable like Wrath. I'm trying to add in stuff that might not be as obvious in these videos, and yeah. Now we have the gear system to talk about, and it looks like they're going to break things up just into explaining the gear system and what recommendations for heroes, gear enhancement, let's see, key strategies. Okay, before we get into the actual official video, I do want to mention again that MaBucket.com, you guys know MaBucket, he has a really great tier list, he has a great website, it's got a artifact tier list as well. But he's also gone ahead and added a bunch of gearing and build recommendations to his website. And it kind of gives a really good guide for stats depending on where you're at in the game. And that wasn't there at the beginning, but he's been working on his website and constantly improving it. So make sure you go check it out on the tier list. When you click a hero, you can see some recommendations for gearing. And there's little buttons at the bottom for different areas like late game, mid game, early game, whatever. You can kind of see the different suggestions. So that's a really helpful tool. So check it out, give him some love. And I'm sure if you're not already, make sure you subscribe to him on YouTube and check out our recent collabs, which were a ton of fun. But let's go on to the gear system explained.
Everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Watchers Academy. Looking for ways to quickly promote your heroes? You gotta have good gear items for that. That's why for today's episode, we'll be diving into details about how to best take advantage of the gear system. We've sorted the video into 3 essential parts to make it easier for you to find the information you need. Without further ado, let's get started. Part 1. What is the gear system? The gear system is one of the main ways to give more attributes to your heroes. Collecting a whole gear set will even trigger the corresponding set bonus, making the overall gear attribute stronger. Parts of gear. Gear is classified into 2 types, 2-piece sets and 3-piece sets. The former consists of 2 pieces, a weapon and a breastplate, which are displayed on the left side. On the other hand, the latter includes 3 pieces, a bangle, an amulet, and a ring, shown on the right side. Both the 2-piece sets and the 3-piece sets offer unique set bonuses. When a hero is equipped with a full set, the corresponding set bonus will be activated. Gear sources. Gear is primarily obtained from Gear Raids 1, 2, and 3. In Gear Raid 1, you can acquire weapons and breastplates, which constitute the 2-piece sets. Gear Raids 2 and 3 drop bangles, amulets, and rings, completing the 3-piece sets. As you reach the higher stages of the Gear Raids, you'll be able to obtain better gear items. Gear attributes. Each gear item possesses a main attribute and several secondary attributes. For the 2-piece sets, the main attributes are fixed. Weapons provide attack bonuses, while breastplates offer HP boosts. In contrast, the main attributes for the 3-piece sets are randomized. Therefore, you will encounter various main attributes for bangles, amulets, and rings as shown. It's worth noting that certain attributes are exclusive to specific gear parts when they are assigned as main attributes. For instance, crit rate is exclusive to bangles, attack speed is found solely on amulets, and rings feature rage regen.
So with this in mind, guys, this is why we would strongly suggest when you're pushing your gear raids, whether it be 1, 2, or 3, pushing gear raid 2 or 3 is going to be a lot more beneficial than pushing gear raid 1. Gear raid 1 is going to give you those flat stat, basic sort of main stat but yeah, stats. Where again, amulets, rings, bangles here as the 3-piece sets that come from Gear Raid 2 and 3. Those are where you can have attack percentage instead of flat attack, defense percentage instead of flat defense as your main stat. And once you get your characters to level 50, level 60, they are going to benefit so much more from the bigger percentages compared to just the basic flat stat main stats. So if you want mythic of anything, it's definitely the stuff from Gear Raid 2 or 3. So prioritize that over Gear Raid 1.
Regen. In terms of secondary attributes, they are distributed randomly across gear items. You might see examples like these. Gear Rarity. Gear items in the game come in 4 different rarity levels: Rare, Epic, Legendary, and Mythic. Within the Legendary and Mythic categories, there are even more potent variations known as Ancient Legendary and Ancient Mythic items. The rarer the gear item, the stronger its main attribute and secondary attributes. In addition, it will also feature a greater number of secondary attributes. Take this epic gear item as an example. It only has 2 secondary attributes, whereas the mythic piece boasts 4. That's a big leap, isn't it? Gear sets.
But the ancient ones, the ancient versions, that glow extra, are supposed to have better base stats, or the substats are supposed to roll better or something like that. And so far, I've only had a couple pieces and they just roll terrible. I don't think they're working as intended. Something is wrong there. They just feel pointless. They just feel like exactly the same as a normal legendary versus the glowy ancient legendary are the exact same. Maybe the only difference so far is I never get the like little tiny below 1 bar stat. But if that's all it is and you just always get just above the 1 bar, that's really not that exciting. It should be like you always get into the purple or the gold version for the substats, right? I don't know what the intent is with the ancients, but so far the ancient gear does not seem any different really. Yeah, or barely any different than the normal. I'm not sure if it's bugged or not.
Gear sets are categorized into 3 levels distinguished by their colors: blue, purple, and red. As you progress through the gear raid stages, the level of gear sets you obtain will increase, yielding more powerful set bonuses. Part 2. How to equip your heroes with the right gear. When it comes to choosing gear items for different heroes, you'll need to think about rarity, set bonuses, main attributes, and secondary attributes. Make sure you pick items that align with your current needs. First and foremost, prioritize choosing gear with the highest rarity possible for each part. If there is a mythic piece available, equip that. Next, choose the most suitable gear items for your heroes based on their classes and skills, so that you can maximize the set bonus potential.
And just so you notice, make sure you guys probably day 1 saw like, oh, there's the one that has the marksman logo. That must be for the marksman. But that's not necessary. I'm not sure why they did that. They look too similar. But there's like the little bow that looks like a marksman arrow. That's for the crit rate set or whatever one it is. It might be the attack set. I'm forgetting now. That's the attack set. That doesn't mean it's for only that faction or only that class, I mean. Keep that in mind too. I'm not so sure about their order of priority. If they're going to say sets are more important than the main stats, they're definitely not correct there, because you'd rather have an attack percentage main stat of a mythical piece that gives you 60% attack than try to worry about making up the differences of like just completing a set and sacrificing and going with HP percentage because you don't have attack percentage, you know? Main stats are going to be more important than the set itself in most cases, unless you have terrible substats, but usually the main stat and the substats are going to be more beneficial overall than the set itself, until you get really into later game and you can be super picky.
For healers, for example, choose sets that will increase their healing effects, such as the 2-piece Salvation set and the 3-piece Invigoration set. Additionally, match the hero with the attributes that align with their role. For DPS heroes like marksmen and mages, consider attack bonus and crit rate first, and for healers, you can focus on gear with healing effect boosts. Prioritize the piece within a set that has the most favorable main attribute. Then, narrow down the selection based on the number and quality of secondary attributes. Overall, the more attributes that suit the hero, the higher their priority should be placed on that gear. Part 3. Power up your gear with further enhancements. Once you choose a suitable gear set, you can further enhance the set to first, improve the main attribute, and second, activate secondary attributes. Note that secondary attributes do not change as the enhancement level increases. The level of enhancement a gear can reach depends on its rarity. The highest level caps at level 16, and every 4 levels of enhancement will activate 1 additional secondary attribute. To achieve optimal results, it is highly recommended that you strategically enhance gear based on the specific needs and strengths of your heroes. To wrap up, here is a recap of what we've explored in
I thought they were going to go into the ascending thing, but I'm actually kind of glad they didn't because this is more of a beginner guide. And let's be honest, that would just confuse people. Let's not worry about ascending yet. So I'm actually kind of glad they didn't. Smart move.
today's video. That's it for today's Watchers Academy. If you found this video helpful, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We look forward to seeing you in our next video.
So I think it was a pretty good overview, but I kind of feel like this video might have lacked a little bit of depth and really just stated the obvious, and also gave a little bit of bad advice here without clarification. For example, this screen right here. You are not going to use like a mythic level flat attack, flat amulet, or flat ring. Don't waste your gold on flat stats. Flat defense, flat HP, flat attack on your bangle, amulet, or ring once you are at the mythic stage is a complete waste of your gold. It is so expensive to roll mythic gear up to level 16. So if you're going to do that, make sure it's worth it. Roll something to only 4, 8, or 12 first. Make sure you liked those rolls. If they're all terrible, maybe don't take it to 16. But definitely don't do that on the flat attack or the flat defense or the flat HP for the 3-piece sets. Now remember the 2-piece sets, that's your only option. Flat attack and flat HP, those are what they are. But when it comes to the 3-piece sets, do not, this is definitely flat stats in the bin once you're at mythic level. Now legendary can be a little bit debatable still because it's not too expensive to take something to 12. And personally, I have a couple pieces that I rolled legendary that were flat attack, but had attack bonus as a substat, and the attack bonus rolled extremely high. So it was actually better for me to do the flat attack plus the attack bonus substat on the yellow legendary gear than it was to throw on an attack bonus that didn't really have good substats. So keep that in mind, but the red gear is expensive. And gold is honestly the biggest issue in this game so far. Once you get really pushing your accounts and trying to put the best gear possible on people and farming that mythic gear. So just, even if early on you're like, I have a ton of gold, I'm fine. I was that way. Trust us, it's going to be an issue, so be super selective. But that's all for today's video, guys. Hope these little tips on gearing from both me and this video are helpful. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.